How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we're back with the last episode of this Road to Finals series because we have finals just as early as tomorrow, and hopefully this brings it to an end. A good amount of knowledge, helpful use, or helpful tips and stuff to help you prepare for tomorrow's event, because this is all tailored to the EU event coming up tomorrow. And hopefully you've seen all the different topics we covered, and now for the last one, we're going to cover the topic knowledge is power, so you should read up on the rules. So before we get into this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps the channel out greatly, especially since we're trying to get to 1,000 subs before the end of the year, and we're getting close to there now, and every little bit helps. You can also leave a comment to basically just ask any questions you might have on the topic that wasn't covered, that you might have questions of, or even if you want anything covered on the channel, you can do that by just asking for it in the comments below, and also giving it a like so you let me know that you do enjoy the series and it was helpful. And also lastly, subscribing helps you keep updated with my videos as when they drop, and also clicking the notification bell so you get alerts to when my videos do drop, so you know they're there to watch straight away, or they're available to watch when you're able to. Now, with that all said and done and out of the way, we get into the topic for episode 7, being knowledge is power, so read up on the rules. So you might be wondering, like, what does it mean, knowledge is power? You might have heard this before, but essentially having knowledge gives you a good advantage, and that's the same for Dragon Ball as well. Having knowledge of like the rules, like meta knowledge, deck knowledge, things like that, give you a slight advantage over people that might not be as well versed in their knowledge. And you can do this in a few ways to help you essentially have that one up on your opponent. You might be thinking some of these things might be something that's like common knowledge to some like veteran players, or some players just understand this, but not everybody does, and that's why I've put this one together for this last one to help people understand that aren't really well versed, or even just get into the competitive scene. So, main things that you can help you, and we're going to go over 6 different things that, once again, might seem simple and so that you already know, but not everybody does know this. That's what I'm coming here. So first thing is Counterplay Windows, and this is one that stumps a lot of people understanding Counterplay Windows. So when a card is hard casted, so it means paying its actually printed cost to play it out, there is one counter window, and that counter window is before play. So you pay the cost for the card, reveal the card you're going to try and play, and then before you can play it, there's a transfer your opponent the counter, and that's through the Counterplay Window 1. And any card hard cast by its actual printed cost gets this one counter window. Every card gets at least one counter window, but any hard cast one only gets that one. But if you play one by an effect, like use an effect to play out a card, then you get 2 counter windows. The first one comes beforehand, just like in Counterplay Window 1, where you pay the cost to attempt to play the card and reveal the card you're attempting to play, or using the effect to play, and then your opponent gets that counter window. And then after that counter window resolves, or after that counter window, if your opponent does use it to counter with something, or don't, you then go to basically resolve the effect of the card to play it and resolve the whole effect. And then once it's played out, you then get another counter window where your opponent then gets the chance to respond again after it's been played. And this is counter window 2. And this is when you can, like, some cards get more benefit than Counterplay Window 1. And just understanding that there's 2 Counterplay windows and one is 4. So hard casting a card and gets one counter window, which being counter window 1. Playing an effect, you get both the counter window 1. Then after it's played, you use the effect to play itself, or the card resolved effect to play a card. You then get a second counter window to respond to them. And having knowledge about when these card windows occur, and what cards they occur for, help you in the advantage by basically getting the best use. Because as I said, some cards get a better effect or a better usage or a full effect it played in certain counter windows. Like there's some cards that are better played in counter window 1, like cards that like Cold Bloodlust and things like that want to basically hit the card before it comes down. And there's some cards that want to get better, basically get a better effect when they're playing counter window 2. Like for example, like Videl and Yancha counterplays. They want to be counterplayed after, so the card's already on the board and then target with the effect. So understanding that and learning through that, basically understand how the counterplay windows work, give you a better advantage over people that don't really understand it, because a lot of people have this issue. And I think it's one of the main things that deter people from trying to join into the game is counter windows, how they work, because it is quite complicated. Now the second thing is turn player priority when resolving effects. So some people still don't understand this as well, which is astonishing, but it is just a thing. Just remembering that turn player priority is a thing when resolving effects. So when you have effects that come off at the same point, the turn player always resolves theirs first. So when resolving any effects, or like effects come off, the turn player resolves theirs. Then once all their effects are done and gone and they've finished all their effects, then the opponent then resolves theirs. So like say if like one big example is like with Cell Max. If not Cell Max, yeah, the Cell Max 8 drop where when it attacks it then gets an effect when it attacks it basically gets an effect to restand it and give itself minus 15k at the end of the battle. And understanding when things resolve is really good point here, because say you play that Cell Max and attack with it, then the auto will then go into pending. So when you declare attack, your autos go into pending, both yours and the opponent. They both go into pending, and then there's a counter window. So say if on response to the attack I activate Wolfang Fist, that will then basically trigger and resolve and minus it by 15k. And then the effect of Cell Max will then resolve its auto and it'll restand itself, and at the end of the battle it'll lose 15k power. So when it comes to the end of effect, that's when it comes into turn player, like the example for this, turn player priority, where now you've got two effects that are going to trigger at the end of the battle. The Cell Max losing 15k power for the turn, and then also as well as that Wolfang thing resolving and coming off at the end of the battle. So turn player resolve their effects, so their Cell Max will then minus 15k itself, and then before it goes to resolving the Wolfang Fist, a checkpoint will occur, and then it have 15k loss from Wolfang Fist and 15k loss from its own effect, putting it less power because it's 25k base, unless it's got a bigger 10k boost. Then it goes on to 0 and then end up being put into the drop due to game mechanics. Because at this point, the Cell Max will resolve, minusing itself down to 0 with the joint minus from Wolfang Fist, and then checkpoint occurred, resolving the effect and killing itself. And then after that, then once all the turn players' autos resolve, effects are resolved to come off, then Wolfang Fist, being the opponent's player, will then come off and remove the 15k. But at that point, the turn player's effect will reduce it down to 0, killing it before Wolfang Fist comes off. So understanding things like that give you a big benefit and give you a slight advantage over players who are not aware of that, or basically still understand turn player priority when it comes to resolving effects. Now another one we have, using the same Cell and Max example, is resolving effects correctly. We do still get people that basically just try to resolve effects, resolve them correctly in the correct order, which not always being relevant, sometimes can be relevant. So one again example is of that same Cell Max 8 drop. So when it attacks, it's also triggers, and then when it resolves, it switches to active mode straight away, and then the end of battle minus 15k. Now the relevant thing of that is the switching to active mode. It switches straight to active mode, so in active mode not be which is relevant, adding it to 15k at the battle. So make sure to resolve it by when you attack with it, you then switch to active mode, then note that it's going to be minus down by 15k, and that's relevant because there's some cards and effects, like for example in yellow, which a lot of their effects want to try and KO things in rest mode or affect things in rest mode, which won't be able to happen as normally with the Cell Max, because as part of his effect, it switches itself back to active mode straight away. So it switches to active mode, then minus at the end of the battle. At the end of the battle, minus 15k. So at that point during the battle, it won't be in rest mode for some of yellow's effects to kind of choose it, pop it, or do things like that. So make sure the resolve effects can actually help benefit you, and also make sure the play is performed correctly. So that's the third one. Then the next one we have is specific card interactions for your deck. So one thing is just reading up on specific interactions that your deck can perform, so that way you're fully aware of what your deck can do to get the full benefit of it. Because what you want to do with your deck is make sure you're using the deck that's best for you, that you understand, that you enjoy, and then learning all the interactions. So when it comes to playing it, you get the full use of your deck, and not just playing it to half its potential power. So making sure, checking with any certain card interactions to your deck, any specific ones, means that if it comes up, it could give you a benefit where your opponent wouldn't realize that, and then gain that little advantage. Because remember, some advantages help you win games. So there's that, especially like a Counterplay window that can help you win games where your opponent not trying to perform something in a certain way, and you'll be able to counter them when aware that you could say Counterplay and Counter Window 2 and get a neg and stuff like that. So that's another one. Then for a fifth one we have is niche rulings for popular meta decks. Especially if there's some kind of interaction you'll have, looking at the meta decks, let's look at what the different card interactions. There could be niche things that popular meta decks have that your deck can benefit or be like it can negatively impact yours. So understanding those to basically help work around it for your side deck, your main deck choices is really helpful. So remember to always check what the meta is, what you expect it to be, and then look at different rulings interact with those decks. That way you can understand it fully to help you get that benefit when playing those certain matchups. So that's one. And then for the last one, we have literally just reading cards correctly. Like a lot of the problems most people have is just where they just can't read, or they just don't read the card properly, or just makes assumptions of what the card does. They don't actually read the text properly to understand it properly. What the cards do, and I know that's become like a big meme in Dragon Ball, well at least Masters, because Fusion isn't out yet. But in Masters, that's become like a big meme of people going, well, Dragon Ball players don't read, blah blah blah. It doesn't come just not reading, it just from people just not even trying to read the card. So like make sure you're reading the card correctly, even if it needs to take a time, even if you need to read the card a few times just to kind of grasp what it does, because you might have difficulty reading or understanding the wording, because Bandai wording isn't always the best. It's always best to just make sure you're just actually reading the card correctly to understand what the card does. That way when it comes up, because if you read a card incorrectly, it comes up and you're trying to do something that isn't going to actually work, then you get boned because you haven't read it correctly, taken the time to actually make sure you understand the card properly, and now you just basically just performed incorrectly, like potentially tried to perform a play that is incorrect, but you can't take it back because it's actually still a legal play. So things that just benefit you. So those are the 6 main things that can help you out. We're using knowledge and making sure you're just reading up on the rules, and hopefully that helps you out. Like so, the last two were kind of a short ones, just going over some niche little things to help out that might not seem big, but actually can help you. So hopefully you get the benefit from that. And that is it. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully this Road to Finals series has helped you out. I know it helped out a few people last year when I did it, and I'm glad that helped those people out. And I'm hoping this one does the same for this year. So just make sure to give a little note down below in the comments if this did help you, or even give it a like if that is a lot easier. And also remember to subscribe and click the notification bell to get alerts. So that is it from me. I'll see you hopefully at finals tomorrow, and if not, enjoy the rest of your day and have a good Christmas. So that's it from me, and bye for now.